All right, all right.
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
All right, good, good, good. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. All right, Hakia Me here, the Success Scholar. Thank you for tuning in, listening in.
But
Man, it's a beautiful day. Hope you all are wonderful. So we are here live coming up towards the end of January. So, it's coming up on Black History Month, and I wanted to dig into this conversation. And many people have seen the article in the Baltimore Times that was spread throughout the world. Many different news agencies picked it up. Many Black businesses, entrepreneurs picked up this story about minority business enterprise. I have the author of that uh, article, a longtime friend and partner of mine. Have hosted radio programs with him. He's in the Baltimore area. He does the BB. He's the CEO founder of BBH Tours, former founder of the Baltimore City Black Chamber, and I could just keep going on and all the accolades. But next month, starting in a few days on February the 1st, we're gonna have, he's gonna be launching a Black History Month honoring Parren J. Mitchell, the Honorable and great Parren J. Mitchell. And so he has a plethora of experts that, many people know throughout the Maryland, DMV, and nationally as well to have this conversation. But I wanted to, just do a little intro into what these conversations, and you can see the names of the different people that are going to be a part of these series of discussions, and some of you can join as we do have these conversations as well about minority business enterprise. That's regarding getting contracts, but not just on a state level, but local, of course, and federal, for wherever we are, and Black people need to be a part of that and receive funding. So without further ado, Brother Lou Fields, greetings to you, brother. Welcome, man. Hope you're doing well. Looking sharp, looking like $1 million.
that's great, because that's what conversations need to be about in 2022. But thank you,
Yeah.
brother, for having me on. And as you say, we can turn our attention this year to the battle for economic rights as we continue to fight for human rights, civil rights, and just as people of color throughout the dysphoria, throughout this world, we still got to stand up and agitate. And as Parren would say, after hearing the great leader Frederick Douglass out of Baltimore speak on agitate. Parren Mitchell, homeboy from Baltimore, becoming the first African American elected to Maryland to Congress, he changed that word agitate from his good brother to litigate. And our conversation begins Tuesday as it relates to the Maryland minority business, women business, advanced business, veterans business enterprises, to take a hard look at the status of the current state of the procurements coming out of the Maryland state agencies. The latest report, FY 2020, showed that out of a mandated goal of 20% of all state contracts, 29%, the state agencies collectively, according to their own report, FY 2020, these agencies are only averaging 14% towards a 29% goal. And good old public school Baltimore education, Edwardson High School, says to me that 14% is barely half of the goal, which means minorities across our state and others who apply and receive Maryland contracts are losing 15% of the goal. What does that translate to hard dollars? $1 billion in lost revenue to Blacks and other minorities who are certified with the state of Maryland. So the idea on Tuesday, February 1st, every Tuesday thereafter, is to look at the current bills, MBE bills, going through the Maryland General Assembly this year, particularly in as much as some of our state secretaries, agency heads are running for governor. As we have a Secretary of Commerce, she's running for governor. We have the state comptroller, he's running for governor. And one could take a look at those two agencies and say, well, how did they do with MBE procurements during their time? As in the case of the Secretary of the Department of Commerce, she did 9% towards a 29% goal. The comptroller state agency, he did only 14%. So as we look at this being an election year, we decided every Tuesday we would do a recap of the past week at the Maryland General Assembly and give information about the current week as to which MBE bills are being heard, what committee are they in, who sponsored them, who co-sponsored them, who's for them, who's against them. So in short, we're going to kick our MBE report news and updates off on this coming Tuesday, February 1st. Side note, that's Langston Hughes' birthday. Side note, of course, that's the month that Carter G. Woodson, Dr. Woodson created for us. So it's be interesting this year to have a weekly recap of the MBE bills at the Maryland General Assembly and other bills of interest. Police reform bills are there, crime bills are there, COVID bills are there, housing, health, all kinds of bills, maybe up to 2,000 bills in the 90-day session will be introduced. Less than maybe 1/3 of them will pass, but they will have impact upon the citizens and the taxpayers of the state of Maryland. For those that are in the business community, high key, we want to make sure we can close the gap between the legislation at the Maryland General Assembly and those who are affected by it as African Americans and, of course, other minorities who may tune in as well. So come February 1st, we're going to honor the great Parren Mitchell, Congressman Parren Mitchell. But we have some leaders from the Maryland General Assembly, senators, delegates, people from the community, state agencies will all be speaking. And we're not going to have a toe-down fight about anything. We're just going to honor Parren and give the lay of the land for the next 90 days at the Maryland General Assembly.
Right. Well, yeah, no, we appreciate that. And my understanding, and I work closely with attorney Tony Anthony Robbins, and he taught me what he learned from Parren Mitchell, and many people, a lot of people that's doing these MBE all over the country, they don't know and appreciate what he did, what he fought for on a federal level to enhance the, to create and start the MBE program. I'm sorry, the 8A program on a federal level. So, I'm hoping that, between his daughter, Lisa Mitchell, and her last name, Sennar, or if you can pronounce her last name for me, as well as attorney Anthony Brown, Anthony Robinson, can share, that parts of it, because I think it's essential for Black people, not just in Maryland, to understand what the Mitchell family meant to Black progress nationally, right?
And also, Parren not only led the effort to create the first set-aside for minority business, but also he was a leading founder of the Congressional Black Caucus in our nation.
Right.
And also, I mentioned he's the first African-American from the state of Maryland to be elected to Congress, 1970. But as you mentioned, he's a part of a Mitchell political dynasty that Maryland saw here in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. And almost, as everybody would always say, you rarely can get through any year without having a Mitchell somewhere in politics. And even today, we may not have an elected official, but we know we have, as the governor's liaison to the Maryland General Assembly, Kiefer Mitchell. So the Mitchells have been here with us for a long time, and we don't let our opponents select our leaders. We select our leaders. And the Mitchell family is one family, similarly to the Conway family, that the entire family line dedicated their lives to fighting injustice and discrimination in the political arena. Now, when you do that, you become a target. And as we've seen in Baltimore's politics over the last decade, African Americans, particularly African American women, when they decide to take leadership and do things and say things like the shoe is on the other foot, quote unquote, we'll find the opponents, those who would not have an African American mayor, not having African American city council president, not having African American majority city council, not having African American female as state's attorney. Well, to take leadership in those kind of positions, you open yourself up not just to the applause and roar of the crowd that you seek to advocate for, but you open yourself up to the glaring eye of the opponents who drop dimes and spread rumors and just try to make it like all the people of color who get higher elected positions are thieves and pirates and cowards and all of them are for sale. But we know better than that. We know right now we have the things I mentioned in Baltimore City government, but also in the Maryland General Assembly. No bill passes without the support of the 50-odd members of the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland. We saw in 2018 over 100 women get elected to the Congressional Congress, and we know that the Congressional Black Caucus is as strong as ever. We see the leverage being held by Delegate Claiborne as it relates to President Biden having an opportunity to appoint someone to the Supreme Court. He said to us during the campaign and at his election date, he has our back. So now we see the electrical power of Black elected officials almost forcing whether he wants to do it or not. Biden has to support, has to appoint an African-American woman to the United States Supreme Court. Here we are, 2022, new history is about to be made. No Black woman has served on the United States Supreme Court, only 2 Black men. So here we go. This is what politics does, and some of our opponents would say politics does not help the average everyday person. Well, it not only helps, but it hurts. Public policy affects everybody's lives. When you get your water bill, your income tax, and you pay your property tax, and you pay all these sales tax, all that falls under public policy. And right now, the budgets are going through, the city budget, $4 billion going through, the state budget, $50 billion going through. And to the extent that the population, the citizens and taxpayers do not pay attention to these budgets, those budgets can be utilized against their own wishes. And I have lots to say about that, but we're going to save some of this, folks, for the MBE show report, MBE report news and updates, beginning Tuesday, February 1st, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., and continuing every Tuesday thereafter, particularly during the Maryland General Assembly. We might keep it going all through the year, but we know we're going to do these 90 days. For those who want to tune in, the password can be found at bdxlive.biz. Again, that's www.bdxlive.biz. And you go on that website and hit BDX Live, and you can see the 3 different talk shows we are putting in place for 2022. Because as you know, how key as my co-host at Radio 1, we were there for 4 years, and after COVID hit in March 2020, we sort of went to Zoom as everybody else has, but it took me almost a year and a half to get real familiar with it. So starting in February, we will continue and launch on February 1st, the MBE news updates, and on February 9th, we will launch Black Women-Owned Business Showcase and Marketplace, so we can help our sisters get some more exposure. And that's going to be for women, run by women. I will set it up, and I will turn it over to 3 or 4 women who will serve as the co-hosts. That's going to be the Black Women-Owned Businesses Showcase and Marketplace. So tune in and stay tuned. But to get the passwords again, just go to bdxlive.biz.
All right, beautiful. Well,
so you can just call me up. You always can call me at 443-983-7974. I believe in answering my phone, unless I'm on a call or doing something, but I normally answer my phone.
Right. No, definitely appreciate it. This is sounding good. And I just got, one quick question, and I appreciate everybody for listening in and tuning in. We have a stellar lineup, as you can see, the people that we're going to have on, from Senator Joe Carter to Senator Antonio Hayes to, we got a lineup, as you can see, Chairman Darryl Barnes and several others that are going to join us.
Yeah, I can help out with that.
Yes, and not everybody are elected officials, but I'm just pleased, about your courage, Lou Fields, to address this issue. Some people, they feel like not saying you, but individuals who ask these tough questions, who raise these issues, but you do your due diligence, and that's one thing I always say, like, regardless of how somebody may feel, let's look at the facts, the history, and the numbers. And if the facts, the history, and the numbers, if people got a challenge with that, we're willing to listen. But if you don't like somebody's opinion, that's a different story. So I'm just simply saying that I'm pleased that there's, for me, there's somebody independent enough to raise these concerns, and we may not be given the big titles or the big applause, but we partnered and we're doing some collective work to ensure that our voices are being heard. So whatever I need to do to help move this forward, that's what I wanted to do. So hopefully this message will get to individuals that need to hear it, because we're going to do our research and ask the right questions and listen to the right people to ensure that we in Maryland, we say we're the largest Black on the state level, Black caucus members, and so the question is how equitable, how is that transferring into assets and equity? So that's what we have to move towards.
And Haki, thank you very much for taking the time and sharing and letting your audience be aware of what we're happening. If I could take a couple of seconds, just tell our listening audience some of the bills that's already been introduced in the first 2 weeks. We have different bills coming in. For example, there's a bill, SB 222, Senate Bill 222, introduced by the chair of the president of the Senate, the Baltimore senator from the 46th district, introduced a bill, and it's on the news every day. But formally, the bill is number SB 222. And you can see these bills just by going on the Maryland General Assembly and putting in the bill number. And you'll see the sponsor, co-sponsor, and a synopsis summary of the bill. Now, what is Senate Bill 222? This is a bill introduced by Senator Bill Ferguson with support from Delegate Brooke Lieberman and City Councilman Eric Costello. This bill would seek to force the businesses on the Baltimore block, adult entertainment businesses, or businesses with a liquor license down there, to close at 10 o'clock, which means that business community will be shut down permanently, basically, because their primary time of day to make their most money is from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So if you close that down, that's 7 days a week. They're losing 4 hours a day. That's 28 hours a week. That's almost 100 hours per month of lost revenue. Worse than that, lost payroll from people who work at 10 to 2 shift. And so that bill is Senate Bill 222. And if you're for it, you need to contact Bill Ferguson's office, let him know you're for it. And the number to call any delegate or state senator, you call 410-841-3000. Operator will come on, you ask that senator's office, because everybody does not know their senator's phone number or their delegate's phone number. But if you call 410-841-3000, they can direct you to that senator's office. And if you support this kind of legislation, then you would call, let the senator's staff know, I support this bill. But if you oppose this bill, which most business people will be, because if they can close adult entertainment in that block today, they can close your business in your block tomorrow just by putting a bill in. So that's one of the bills we have to look at. Another bill that's very important is Senate Bill 0359. That's a bill dealing with the new Magley train, the super fast train from New York to DC to Baltimore. Big bill. Another bill is Senate Bill 310. And this is a bill to deal with small minority women-owned businesses. Another bill, Senate Bill 297. That's a bill to deal with the gaming, sports betting locations in the state of Maryland. And you remember the issues we had with the cannabis license in terms of who would be getting a license and how difficult it was for people of color. So that's an important bill. We also have a bill by Senator West. It says MBE bill, how to relook at who's qualified and who's certified. Another bill, Senate Bill 192. That bill, Haki, seeks to extend the sunset because the minority bill procurement policies for Maryland is only a 5-year run. Every 5 years, it has to be extended. It expires this July. And if it's not renewed, the whole program goes away. Now, why is this bill set to sunset? Well, there is a disparity study that has to be done every 4 years to dictate whether or not we need the MBE procurement bill. That disparity study is delayed. So without that study being done, Senate Bill 192, which was introduced by the chair of the Budget and Taxation Committee, where a lot of these bills deal with money, ends up in your Budget and Taxation Committee. Well, that bill is Senate Bill 192. Another important bill, Senate Bill 155, State Lottery, Instant Gaming. And so on and on it goes with these different bills. Senator Hayes, he has 2 MBE bills. He has Senate Bill 250, which I really like this bill, because this bill would force state agencies to pay within 15 days, not the current 30 days. So if a prime or a sub has a contract with a state agency or the private construction company, his bill would seek to reduce the days of expecting payment from 30 days to 15 days in small businesses. We need our money faster than fast. And so this bill is going through the hoop now. And as an added caveat to that bill, this is Senate Bill 250. If they don't pay within the 15 days, then the MBE will be receiving interest on his money that he hasn't received. Very important bill. And I have one last one I mentioned, and we'll ask everybody to tune in and pick up with us as we do the show on February 1st. And the last one is a bill put in by Senator Obie Patterson out of Prince George's County. This is Senate Bill 72. The Senate Bill 72 says it requires a study, a task force to study the MBE procurement as it relates to the alcoholic beverage industry. And so again, what happens when our elected officials, delegates and senators, the 50 of them, they go down to the General Assembly, you got about almost 50 senators. I think you got almost 140 some delegates. In the Black Caucus is about 50 strong, but they still need to work with others to get their bills passed. So when the public is aware of the bill, the intent of the bill, whether it's the hearing date of the bill, what committee is the bill in, then you begin to know what to do, who to call, who to contact. Good bills, let's support them. Bad bills, let's defeat them. And the way you do that is by having a weekly show that every 7 days informs the business community, the political community, the community at large, what are the bills going through this particular week, the hearing. And of course, most of the hearings are done virtually now, but you can tune in, you can hear the hearings, you can even send in a request to testify. So we hope in our little way, BDX Live will take the Tuesday evening, 6 p.m., delay our dinner, and have this weekly report, news and updates for those who are interested in understanding how public policy, how legislation dealing with business or any other topic can affect your daily lives. So this is what we are doing, and we're looking for supporters and listeners, but for the most part, people just tune in by going to bdxlive.biz and clicking on the BDX Live link, and you can see the passwords to get on our Zoom meetings. And we're just hopeful and expecting to have a great year and to see if we can make the Maryland MBE program, which is known as the gold standard throughout the country. I'm going to say that again. The Maryland MBE procurement policy and program is the gold standard throughout the country. And Maryland is only doing 14% towards a 29% goal. So we have work to do. The rest of the country will follow our suit. So the idea for the show is not to point fingers, and not to call no fuss or no storm, but really to bring all the interested stakeholders to the same table so we can make it better. And we can see more business growth and development. We can see some things happening in the city of Baltimore, throughout the Eastern Shore, throughout Western Maryland, and all up in Kent County, and make sure that down the Eastern Shore, those businesses are being able to participate in the procurement of our state. Just one last thing. In 2020, the state did $6 billion in procurement. The state agencies. When you look at a 29% goal, of $6 billion, you're talking roughly $2 billion. Well, that's if you're reaching the 29% goal, Hakeem. If you're only reaching 14% of that, then that means we're only receiving $1 billion of a potential $2 billion. So roughly speaking, we are losing every 12 months, folks, $1 billion in revenue as minorities, particularly in a state that's over 50% minority. So that's the good news. So tune in and let's lock in and let's go ahead and make this thing a little better. And then as we look at the state, we're also going to be looking at the city procurement policies. This is why Sean Stinnet would be on with us. He's a coordinator with the Baltimore City Office of Minority Small Businesses. We're also going to have people coming in from the state agencies, advocates, and then we'll find out ways as we share more of this information. How can we make this thing better? But on February 1st, we're going to take a step back. Black History Month, we're going to honor PJ, Congressman Parren Mitchell, because he was the leader. We all have our Parren Mitchell stories. I have one. I never forget it. I think it was November the 4th, 1990. I never forget my Parren Mitchell story. And many more, but this one always sticks out. It involves Robert Clay, and it involves the African American Art Museum in Columbia and what we did. And Parren was our guest speaker. So I'm going to save some of that for Tuesday. But again, bring your Parren Mitchell stories come Tuesday, and let's talk about it. And I'll tell you what I'll do, Hakeem. For those who have pen and paper listening now, I'm going to go ahead and give them the password so they can have the password now. For those who don't have it, go on bdxlive.biz. But the password for the show is going to be 875-2028-1917. That's the Zoom ID, 875-2028-1917. And the password is 108423. One time, again, slowly. MBE report, news and updates, February 1st, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Zoom ID, 875-2028-1917. PIN or password 108423. Hope to see you there.
All right. Thanks a lot, Lou. So definitely any businesses that want to consult you on your MBE experience, they're welcome to do so, as well as individuals that would like to sponsor some of the broadcasts and other operations and activities that BDX Live offers. Please, definitely, you should do that. Lou certainly has been serving not just in Baltimore, of course, but throughout the state of Maryland and all over the country for quite some years. And so definitely, if you want someone that has studied the facts and understands what's going on with MBE, he's worked with many of all of the great MBE experts throughout the years. And so any individuals that may not necessarily have their MBE, you should consult with him to work towards getting that. But definitely in the next this next month, be a sponsor for the month of February for the BDX Live broadcast so that we can advocate for your business and ensure that we connect you to the right individuals that have an understanding of this process. So I'm plugging for you, brother Lou, just to say what needs to be said so that you can do this valuable work. So thanks for posting. Hold on, let me repost your website, BDX Live.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat room too.
Yeah. So everybody can see it here. Wait a minute, done it. So Sister Monica wanted your number, and she posted. Hold on, let me go back up here. Something about a bill, HB 158, New Start Act, offering $50,000 to ex offenders starting who currently have a business. That's essential as well. And I appreciate that input, because if we don't connect what's going on to the returning citizen population, there could be a continued cycle of recidivism So we have to address that. And I know that Michelle Alexander was just at Loyola with Dr. K, and we definitely have to create this entrepreneurial wealth class. And so that what needs to happen. Proper education needs to happen. So let me just post that so people can see BDX Live this Friday. And thank you. Okay, he said thanks to Monica, but definitely, definitely. So, all right, my brother, I'll let you go ahead and so you can handle your business for the rest of the day. And Monica, she will give you a call as well. So we are out, everybody. Definitely, we appreciate you all for tuning in, for you all watching on the broadcast. Oh, one more thing. Go for it. Go for
And
it.
one more thing, and just for the good of the record, tomorrow is Jackie Robinson's birthday. He's born January 31st, 1919. And on his burial site, on his headstone, it reads, one's life is not important except accepting the impact it has on the lives of others. This is the creed that Parren J. Mitchell stood by, Robert Clay, Ray Haysburg, Stephen Pace, all those guys who led the way and helped us get to where we are today. So we're going to do this show and this type of show dedicated to those members of our family who have made the transition, but who blazed the trail, Honor Jolivet and others who helped us get to where we are today. And again, Brother Aki, thank you for being a fearless pioneer and bringing things to people's attention. Because if not for you and others like you, this void, this information gap would not be shared. And I want to thank Monica Cooper for just sharing what she just shared as well. I'm going to speak to House Bill 158 on Tuesday.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. Sounds good. Thank you, Sister Monica, and thank you, Brother Lou. Now let's go ahead and enjoy the rest of your day, my brother. We shall be in touch.
Thank you, sir.
All right, peace and blessings, everybody. All right, we out.